Is now hard evidence that climate change is the main reason why some species of bees are declining. And a Webster University professor is behind that decade of research explaining why and correcting some widely believed misinformation. Nicole Strutman joins us now. She is a Webster University professor and nationally renowned bee expert who co-wrote this new study just published in Global Change Biology. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you specifically looked at alpine bumblebees and why are they declining? What did your research find?
So we're looking at cold adapted species, right? This alpine means really high in the mountains. And historically, because it's so cold, they had to get everything they needed to do in their lifespan in a really short period of time. Because of that, they had really set schedules. And now that it's warming, their schedules are still set and they're not shifting with that climate. And so their numbers are actually declining when it's warmer.
So if they're being pushed out by other bees, that contradicts what some people believe in that, or what we hear often is that all bees are declining.
Right. So in these alpine environments, we have species that were traditionally occurring lower in along the mountainside, and they're moving into these environments and into these habitats. And they have a much more flexible, what we call phenology or timing. And so they're able to respond. And I think that's a really important point because not all insects, not all bees are declining. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be worried. And in fact, some of the services that we really rely on insects for, like pollination, are threatened because of these declines.
Now, we often hear that certain chemicals or maybe urbanization are factors in the decline of certain insects. Does your research suggest that climate change is a much bigger factor than those?
I think it depends on which species you're talking about.
Okay.
For our species, up high on the mountain, climate is king, if you will. Like that is the thing that is driving them. They aren't in cities. They aren't exposed to pesticides. Whereas around us, in the city, around the city of St. Louis, those factors are going to be more important. So there isn't really one thing that is influencing all species, but we're kind of throwing lots of different things at them at the same time.
As far as the alpine bumblebees that you were studying in the mountains, why does it matter that they're declining? Why should people care?
So a few different reasons. From my perspective, all of these organisms are incredibly important. They play their own role and they can't really be replaced. So we talked about those other bees that are moving into the alpine, right? They don't function the same way. They don't pollinate exactly the same way. They do different things in the system. And so just because they might be replaced by something else, that doesn't mean that the services are the same. And we rely on bees not only for our food, but also for all of those other services that we don't even think about, like water filtration and things that just are part of how the systems function.
Well, Dr. Nicole Strutman Miller, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing a little bit more about your research.
Thank you.
Right.